gonna post this and immediately regret it. What's the most difficult part of making by release? There's so much that goes into these. The voiceover stuff that I have to do. I've tried doing live commentary quite a few times and I always hate it. I don't have a set in stone way of writing scripts about the videos, so I usually just wing it and whatever process works that week works. I end up like redoing a bunch of lines sometimes or scrapping an entire section. I am tired. I just woke up. I'm going to get coffee from my fridge. 1 second. Check this out. Oh, fuck. Cold brew in a can, baby. I also thought about that question more as I went to the fridge. Keeping the camera still because I do this all the fucking time and I want to shoot myself later. I suck at that. I suck at keeping the camera still. Were you always a PC gamer or did you grow up with consoles like PS1/2 or any Nintendo console? The first console I had was a Nintendo 64 and then I got a PS2 and then a PS3, and then I sold that PS3 to get an Xbox 360 so I could play with my friends because they didn't have PS3s. And then I got a PS4, and then I got an Xbox One, all while having a Mac. I actually didn't own a PC until 2018, I want to say. I'm a fairly new PC person. I was on a Mac my entire life, basically limited to RuneScape my entire life. That's probably why I make RuneScape videos, is because it was the only thing I could make videos on. Video games don't run well on Mac. And not at all, actually, sometimes, so, you know, here I am. Would you ever consider doing a long series on a different RPG like Skyrim or something? I would watch the heck out of that. I don't like the idea of a long series, just because there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. I lucked out with By Release because it's a series I really do like doing, and I have liked doing it for such a long time. If it was any more difficult of a goal, it would be really hard to continue doing, and I don't want to put myself in that position again. I kind of just want to make whatever video I feel like making. I think there's a lot of possibilities for like mini-series, especially with RuneScape. I'm still finding that fine line between making RuneScape content and other content. A lot of people are like, well, wait, we'll watch what you make, but it's not true for everybody. Not everybody's gonna watch me play other games. One of the things I might still continue is the RimWorld video that I made, because it did really well, especially for a non-RuneScape video. And it also has to do with RuneScape a little bit. And the person who made that mod is also continuing to make that mod. Once it's over, do you have a game plan in mind on what to do next? Is there another big RuneScape series in the works, or would you take the opportunity to lean more heavily into the non-RuneScape gaming scene? I always want to delve into other games and try things out. But RuneScape is definitely where I feel the most comfortable making videos for a multitude of reasons. Making videos in other games is really hard because I have to learn how to film it properly. Like RimWorld is probably the most difficult game to film in ever. Like if you've never seen RimWorld or anything, you've never played RimWorld, I don't want to show you guys the UI the whole time because it just looks like a cluster of fucking, it looks crazy trying to hide the UI when I can to show like narrative elements to it. I just have to learn how to film in other games. That's definitely a difficulty. I don't even remember the question. I'm just talking. I just talk sometimes. No big series in the works as of now. How you feeling, man? Bit better, but I'm okay. What was the thought process behind doing a handheld corded microphone for your monologues? I honestly just wanted something different. The first one I ever did was Evolution of Construction, and I was just trying to find something to spark my love for video making again because it was just total burnout. COVID was just starting. I felt like I could only make by release, and that was it. So not only was I feeling like I was stuck in RuneScape, but I was feeling like I was just stuck to one series as well. It was a rough time mentally. So I think I just needed something new. And I had watched a ton of Nicky Jakey videos before where he obviously does video essays with a green screen. He's the best at it out of anybody on the platform. I've taken a ton of inspiration from him. And then of course, you'll probably notice quite a few people comparing me to General Sam because that is exactly who the fuck I ripped off, and he knows it. He has a video about me stealing his identity. I actually contacted him before I put out the Evolution of Combat video to ask for his opinion on it and just kind of give some feedback towards that sort of thing. I don't think he ever did give me feedback on it. I think he was just like, you want to play video games? And I was like, yeah, sure. But I do still steal from him all the time. He's a great person to steal from. Highly recommend stealing from General Sam. When you record talking to a camera, do you memorize your script or have some other way of saying your script while staring into the camera? No, I don't really memorize the script. Sometimes I'll practice what I write first, kind of like do a little rough rehearsal to myself. I usually set up my monitor in a way where I'll swivel it to the side, blow it up real big so I can read the script off the screen. I'll look over, read the line in my head. Sometimes I'll just use my script as an outline and just go for it, just kind of talk. I do my best to kind of make everything sound as natural as possible because that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is just say what I'm thinking. So a lot of times I'll just use script for like a general outline thing, and I'll use it to know what I'm about to say, and then I'll just say it. Not a lot of memorizing. Memorizing sucks. I don't like memorizing. There's a reason that professional actors are actors, is because they can memorize scripts word for word and act it how they are intended to. And when it's my style of like a video essay, I just talk. I'm just talking. I'm just spewing shit out of my mouth, and that's what works for me. As a longtime aspiring wannabe RuneScape YouTuber and musician, how exactly does your process for writing, recording, and mastering your songs go? So it's probably the most scuffed process of all time. I always say when people ask me about music, like I don't know what I'm doing, and that it is so true. It's insane. In my recent video where I do Chambers of Xeric with my friend Tal, he is the one who helps me with my music stuff. So I'll come up with a concept I want to make a song about. I'll go to Splice. It's the software. I don't even know if it's not really a software. It's just a service. There's like one shots and loops and everything on Splice. I use that for loops because I don't know how to play an instrument. I used to know how to read music. I can't read music anymore. I can't write music with like the notes and the chords. I like just trying things out and experimenting. That's very difficult for me because I don't know what I'm doing, and my lack of music knowledge holds me back from music, and I just don't have the motivation at the moment to go and learn more about the music. I'll basically just put together a rough instrumental from stuff I'll find on Splice, rap the lyrics over a beat, and just try a few things out. And if I'm really struggling, I'll get Tal involved beforehand. Like for the platform song, I had Tal like take over my instrumental because I was struggling really hard for that one. And Questman too. Questman was probably the most stressed I've ever been about a song because I knew I wanted to make a song and I just was so stuck. Tal is a professional musician. He is a real music artist, like in the industry, and we just kind of became very good friends over time. And he just kind of takes my songs and he will either direct me of how to change the way that I'm doing my voice, or just fucking do it with Melodyne, I think he uses. He's got every professional software you can think of when it comes to music. Like Sandy Confession, I basically had that whole song fledged out, chorus and everything. I didn't change any lyrics or anything, but I just sent him my Ableton file and he just made it sound good. He made it sound full. He made the chorus sound so much better. I'm like embarrassed. I think I've shown Kevin what the original chorus of Sandy Confessions was like, and it was god awful. Like it's so bad what it sounds like initially, but I would have never known how bad it sounded unless I had it fixed by Tal. And that's when I realized, oh, he knows what he's doing. I'm sending every song I ever do to him now. Besides No Lights. No Lights was the only song I did from start to finish all by myself because I'm a big kid, and I didn't have Tal help me with that one at all because he was busy with real music stuff. There's a long answer for you. How has playing the by-release account made you feel about Iron Man accounts in general? Like, are you enjoying the difference in gameplay as opposed to the normal OSRS experience, or would you be hating it if it weren't for the by-release restrictions format? It's made me realize that Iron Men are bitches. It makes me so aggravated when people are complaining on Twitter especially, or Reddit, saying like the fact that we can't do this is bullshit. I've been so frustrated a few times just when it comes to seeing people mention J-mods and like replying to the old school Twitter with just the most insane requests or ideas just to how to make their stupid ass Iron Man life easier, as if they didn't pick this challenging game mode they're playing in the first place. You know, it has made me realize how tough things used to be and how fucking ungrateful people are that all these quality of life things exist. This is a good question. Curious about your setup. I want to make my own videos one day. What capture card do you use / recommend? As a fan of sound, do you use a mixer for your microphone and audio? What mic do you use? I don't have a capture card. I don't know if that's like a surprise, but I mean, as long as you have a good graphics card, not even like a good one, you don't even need like a super good one. You just need a functioning graphics card, honestly. OBS is all you need, man. Nowadays, GPUs encode video really well through OBS. Here's a picture of my video settings that I use as I record. I have an external SSD that I record onto. Very important that you record onto an SSD. Otherwise, you will lose frames, 100%. Do you use a mixer for your microphone and audio? So I use a Motu M2 interface along with a DBX286S de-esser and compressor. I'm using a Rode NTA2 microphone. I use Sennheiser HD600s. I also use the JDS Labs Atom Amp Plus to power the headphones. A lot of investment in this setup. If you're just starting out, you don't need any of this. When I first started making videos and when I first started making by release, I had a Samson CO1U USB condenser microphone, and I had Audio-Technica ATH M40X headphones. Those are the ones I used for fucking ever. They are so good for audio. It's insane. But I used those for like 2-3 years. Would you possibly consider continuing on the by-release adventure in RuneScape 3? If I made an account and completed every quest? No, I wouldn't. I'm not doing by-release on RuneScape 3. I don't enjoy RuneScape 3 enough. I will never be doing by-release on RuneScape 3. I have told so many people that they can go ahead and make the series themselves on RuneScape 3, and everyone who tries it does not make the video or even start it, or tries to start it and never finishes it after like episode 2 because it's just a fucked ass concept. It's just, there's so much different about that game now. I don't enjoy it enough. I'm not making by release on RuneScape 3. What audio plugins did you buy and use, and what do each of them do that stocks don't? I bought RX8. RX8 is like industry standard, really fucking good. It's just got better programming in it. It does a lot more for you automatically. A lot of like reverb reduction, which was huge for me. Getting rid of clicks as you talk is huge. It's always bothered me a little bit, so being able to immediately get rid of that stuff is insane. The EQ options I have through that are so good. Whether I want to do it through Nectar 3, which is probably the one I use the most, like if you do a lot of voice work, Nectar 3 is by far the biggest thing I would say to invest in. I also got FabFilter Pro Q3, which is extremely good for making instruments or your voice sound exactly how you want, getting rid of room resonance, anything at all. There is so many things you can do with Pro Q and a lot of automatic help that you get. Stock EQ things like on Premiere or Audacity can only get you so far with that stuff. You could probably do a lot of the same things that you want to achieve with stock. It just takes so much more work, and you might find yourself bumping into obstacles. And ultimately, it just comes down to saving a shit ton of time. Elaborate more on your role as president of your university's hockey team. Do you like hockey in general, or is it something that was an opportunity at the time? Yeah, so at KU, I had basically started the management team as a player. So I played my freshman year, and it's ACHA, so it's like a club hockey team. And, you know, it's not NCAA sponsored or anything. So we're paying to play, like we're paying to fund our own travels and organization fees and everything like that. KU is obviously very big with basketball and recognized nationally, and just everyone really recognizes that Jayhawk. Being such a big sports school because of that, I saw a lot of potential to really grow our organization, and my biggest goal became to make the season pretty much free for everybody by getting funds from the school and finding donors to possibly get a rink was the big thing that we wanted. So I basically stopped being a player to start social media, managing events off ice and everything. I basically just formed like the management team. I found people around campus who wanted to get experience doing management and everything. And I knew I had management experience prior because of, you know, jobs that I had. And we did get pretty far. We got some sponsors. We got a lot of eyes on us. The year that I was president, we made it to nationals. It was super fun. It was a really fun experience. It was some of the best times of my life. Hockey's always been a huge part of my life. And always will be. From a writing standpoint, do you enjoy cramming more quests into one video or focusing entire episodes on singular quests? I hate cramming quests into one episode. Sometimes quests aren't that interesting, so I don't want to spend like too much time on it in an episode, so I'll kind of just breeze through it because it's really not that fun. And other times where it's like Monkey Madness 2, I didn't want to leave out any details whatsoever and wanted to take my time, and I had to split it up into 2 episodes for that reason, which I was also really nervous about because I've never had to split a quest into 2 episodes before. I didn't want to cram, I didn't want to rush. I don't know if people realize, but sponsors have deadlines. I have to take sponsors so that I can continue doing this for a living. Living off of YouTube AdSense is not possible. I'm able to do this because of sponsors, and I have to do what I gotta do to meet deadlines sometimes, and luckily it worked out because I was able to just pull a few 12-hour days and get it done for that month and then, you know, the next week bust out the rest of it, kind of like on a more normal work schedule. The way I look at it is some creators like to spend 30 hours of gameplay working towards a certain goal for the video and spend 5 hours editing it, where I would rather spend 5 hours recording a quest and spend 30 hours editing it. So it's kind of just like, which one do you like doing more? And I like the editing one. I think that's where I thrive, is the whole narrative and putting together like this big project. When can we see more 007? Dynamic between you and Thinly is amazing. I honestly, I wish I could answer that. I really don't know. There's so many complications with that series right now of just us being like, what do we do now? And also, like, Group Iron Man came out. Not that that really matters. I don't think anyone really give a shit if we just continue the accounts, even though they're not true Group Iron Men. I don't think that matters too much. Now that we're in members, it's kind of like, what do we do now? And, you know, neither of us really want to spend fucking 45 hours grinding towards something simple for one video. And, you know, I also don't want Thinly doing that. Some grinds I have to do for videos and have had to do before and will have to do again take dozens and dozens of hours. And making Thinly do that for the sake of the video, for both of us making enough progress for the next episode, isn't fair to Thinly, because I get paid for that. I give him a percentage of the revenue made between the sponsor and the AdSense and all that. Obviously, I wish I could pay him full time for the hours that he puts in for that, but it's just not realistic for how much the video is going to make, kind of thing. And he works a real job and he has to do that job. And sometimes motivation levels are not the same. Sometimes it's me who's just like, I don't have it in me today. And sometimes it's Thinly who's just like, dude, I just worked so fucking long. I've been up since 5 a.m. after my shift today, and I just want to sleep. And I'm like, I get that, man. So I hope we can continue that series, but I don't know. I don't want to make any promises. I will promise that me and Thinly will be doing something eventually, whether it's 007 or something else. Thinly will be back, don't worry. When you created By Release, did you think it would have the success and impact within the community that it's had up to this point? I don't know. I don't really know what kind of impact it has had necessarily. I think it's just a fun series that people like watching. I'm not sure if it's really influenced much. Maybe it has, and I don't know. I didn't think it'd be that successful. No, I could have never guessed that. I had no idea that one video I was making was going to turn me into a full-time YouTuber. I had no idea. Oh, time for some hot takes. If you could make one integrity change unpulled to OSRS, what would that change be? Second, what integrity change would you remove/revert from OSRS? Finally, what change, update, addition would you pull to the community? So I think the one integrity change I would personally make that a lot of people are gonna fucking despise me for is remove alkables from minigame shops. Anything that you can buy from a minigame shop and alk or sell, gone. I think that was a big reason why Bounty Hunter was destroyed pretty much immediately. Most things at the LMS shop are sellable on the GE. So I think if you get rid of the ability to sell those things, like if everything in that shop was untradeable, people would still have to do content they don't want to do, but it wouldn't be botted. And it would be people collectively doing this thing that they don't really want to be doing, which makes it overall, I think, less fucky. Because at least you don't have to go and do content you don't want to do that bots are infesting, and you have to deal with so many things that make you fucking despise the game at once. You're doing PvP, which you're already bitching about, against bots of all things. You have to confront bots because they're doing this to go make money to sell shit on the GE. I said it in the esports video. It is the dumbest thing that alkables and things that you can sell on the GE are available through LMS points, dude. Sometimes I truly do think that Jagex knows this shit, dude. They need the bots. I think Jagex needs these fucking bots to keep operating. That's a fucking conspiracy theory that I shouldn't probably say, but I'm just gonna, you know, spew it out here. I'm gonna embody my Alex Jones for a second and just say, like, bots are the reason this game thrives still. I don't know who said it. It wasn't me. I didn't say shit. What are you talking about? I didn't say a fucking thing. That's what I'm saying about integrity changes. What change update addition would you pull to the community? I would pull Artisan, because I think Artisan would be a beautiful skill to add to this game. Basically just Slayer, but for skills. Kind of like how the task system works for RuneScape 3, but you're earning XP for a skill instead of just getting fucking spins or whatever. I think Artisan would have such a good place in this game. I don't understand how something like that hasn't been created or pitched realistically yet. I think it would add a lot of spice to this game. I think it would motivate a lot of people to play. It would be an incentive, just how I would not be doing combat right now at all if I wasn't earning Slayer XP to get access to cooler things down the line. Oh, this is such a good question. What is your biggest guilty pleasure when it comes to video games? Playing video games. It's my guilty pleasure. I was talking to one of my buddies not too long ago about this exact thing. He was just like, yo, when you play other games, like, do you feel guilty? And I was like, every second. I feel guilty every single second I'm playing another video game. Just a little bit. Even if it's in the back of my head, just a little bit. I feel guilt. All 500 plus hours I've put into New World in the last 2 months, guilt. Because I was playing a game and not recording it. It has become kind of like a curse to me. Eventually it kind of did go away. I didn't feel as guilty because I learned how to like balance it more with work. The guilt was still there because I knew I could have been working on a video, playing a video game. It's just how it is now. When you hit a creative roadblock or burnout, what best helps you overcome it? That's a great question. It's one of life's great mysteries of how to overcome a burnout or writer's block or anything like that. It is extremely hard, and I probably tried every method in the book. But I think watching my old stuff, like early by release or old video essays I've done, just kind of like gives that spark again to be like, damn, I remember that passion I once felt. I wish I had that again. Like, what was I thinking back then that kind of sparked me to make that video? And if that doesn't help, then watching people who inspire me, closing out Premiere or closing a Word document that you're trying to write and just going and watching things that you like while keeping in mind that you're there for a reason. And whenever I'm trying to make a video essay, I always go to Nakey Jakey's channel and rewatch all of his video essays for the fucking 70th time. There's always like a little detail that I missed or something, and that just inspires me like, damn, that is such a good video. I loved watching this. I want to make something that makes people feel this way. Honestly, you just kind of have to relax a little bit, not pressure yourself, because you just got to know that it's temporary. Your brain works in mysterious ways, and you won't be burned out forever. One way or another, it will leave and you will be fine, baby. You gonna make any more Escape from Tarkov content? No. Zamorak, Guthix, or Saradomin. For your topic-related videos, when do you consider that video done? I think it just entirely depends on what the topic is. If I'm trying to make a video about like the esports thing, I want to talk about the background. I want to give lines of argument. I want to give counter arguments. I want to make sure that I'm keeping in mind everyone's opinion. And basically, once I don't sound like an idiot in my head, because I'm pretty critical of myself, I'm gonna get fucking wrecked by these things, aren't I? Once I don't sound like an idiot in my own head, I think that's enough for me. As fans of your content, what more can we do for you? That is very kind of you to ask, Matt. Thank you. Watch everything I make. I think recently I made the Valorant video. I don't know, I put in a lot of hours to that and kind of framed it for everyone to kind of understand. And it just didn't really do well because it's Valorant. And I want to get to that point where people will watch my videos knowing like it doesn't matter what game it's on. I still made it my video. I still talked about it like it was a Jimmy video in my format that I do every video I make. I'm never gonna sacrifice quality just because it's a different video or something. In fact, I'm going to make it more quality, if anything, because I want people to watch it and I want to get an audience that's not used to something like that just to prove that I can make videos on any game. And I think just watching it and giving me feedback, even constructive criticism, is always accepted. Unless someone's just being a dickhead, Like, I'm never upset at constructive criticism. Like, I do take it. I do take all constructive criticism. Like, if something's not working, like, in your opinion, say it. Just fucking say it. I see fucked shit about me all the time on the internet. I'm not affected by anything. So even if it's constructive criticism, it's not gonna hurt my feelings or anything. I'm not gonna look at you like an asshole or something. As long as you just give honest feedback, that's cool, man. Just watch my stuff, man. I'll make it funny. Even if it's a dog shit game, I'll make it funny. How do you feel about RuneScape lore on a story level? I think it's amazing. RuneScape does what a lot of games will never do and treat people like an actual adventurer rather than the hero. I think that's also what kind of turns me off about RuneScape 3 in the sense that you transition from a nobody to a hero. I know that's probably what like the general public wants, is they want to feel gratitude towards them by the other NPCs, like they're accomplishing something. But I think that's the beauty of like the old school quests, even modern ones, like even with like the recent quests I did, like Monkey Man is 2, where I go and tell King Narnode like, hey, Gluff's fucking doing this. I've been a credible source who's told nothing but the truth for the biggest, craziest moments in the history of that stronghold. And he's still just like, I don't really believe you. Well, we can handle things here. I'm still a piece of shit in their eyes. I'm still this asshole human, even in the current quests, and there's just that like old school humor to it, and I love that. I love being just this kind of like a burden on all the NPCs, like they just don't really give a shit. I'm glad we're not really framed like a hero ever. It's another day in the life of me helping everybody and not really getting the credit I deserve from them. And I think there's something special about that. What's your favorite song you've made for the by-release series? God, dude, it's hard to not say Sandy Confessions, just because even when I was making it, it was so fun writing those lyrics, just because it was one of those moments where I'm like, damn, I don't really know how to go about this quest to make it entertaining. I think being able to turn that into a very iconic by-release song is a really special thing. But I think when it comes to my favorite song I've personally made, it's probably Codes. I don't want to toot my own horn here or nothing, but goddamn, my lyrics were fire as fuck on that song, and you can't tell me otherwise, dude. I was on fire when I was writing that shit, dude. The amount of like double entendres and everything, type it in the codes like a locker combination. That was by far my best writing. I will never peak Codes. So I'll just answer the first question here. What was the most challenging by-release video to make? Probably episode 32, RNG, just because it was the one episode of the entire series that didn't have a quest in a series that is about quests, and up to that point every episode has featured a quest. Coming up with a way to present that stuff that didn't turn people away because it didn't follow the rest of the series was definitely challenging, and it 100% paid off. It's probably my favorite episode of the whole series at this point. I could not have asked for a more poetic ending to that episode with getting the fire cape with settled. I get like tears of joy to this day rewatching that episode. Like I will never forget that. Putting it all together, feeling like I had a true finished product, because it's really hard to feel that way when you're making videos, and it was challenging in a way that I had never had a challenge like that in a by-release video before. Sometimes it's hard to get through things because the quests are boring. Sometimes it just feels like I don't have enough material in an episode. Sometimes it feels like I'm dragging things on or something. A lot of stuff goes on in my own head, but that one was like special in that I had all these new challenges to present for the first time, and putting it together was the hardest part, and it was also my favorite part. Interested to know if you plan on doing anything with your music outside of what's done for YouTube content. Your shit slaps. Thank you, appreciate it. I don't know. Part of me wants to, but part of me also is very hesitant because like I know people enjoy my music, but I'm so inexperienced with it. I'm nervous to give it like a real shot. I feel like I don't know how it'll be perceived if the stuff I'm writing isn't comedy based or what people are used to. I know Tal really wants to try it with me. He really wants me to give like non-RuneScape music a shot, but I don't know. It's so scary to me. Maybe one day we'll see if that happens. Do you feel a lot of pressure to maintain your image as RuneScape's funniest guy? I don't know if I'd consider myself the funniest guy. I think I'm funny. sometimes. I feel like comedy is kind of like my thing. I do feel pressure to maintain a standard for myself. I feel like I get super, I don't know if I'd say insecure, but I think I just question myself a lot whenever I see comments like, oh man, your old stuff was the best. From the early by release episodes especially, people are just like, damn, I miss this. And it's like, man, I get that you miss that old style. Like if you look at the first episodes, you could just feel that like excitement in my voice about starting something so new, and every little thing was just so exciting to do because I'd never done a series before. If I did that now, if I put on that same voice now, it wouldn't be genuine, is the thing. As much as I'd love to have that same first, like, I'm doing this new thing. Every place I go, every NPC I talk to is so fucking fun, and this is hilarious, and everything is so good around me. I don't feel that right now. I feel like I'm trying to make a story, and I want to portray the emotions that I actually have in the video as I play through the quests. And that was genuine back then. The things that I've always tried to just be me and portray exactly how I feel, even though it's this concept of like being a character, keeping up with this persona I've created for by release. I don't have it in me to do this like excited over the top thing. You could just kind of tell the energy levels back then were different than now, but that's not, in my head, a bad thing. It shows the progression of my brain through a series that's been going on for over 2 years. And I think that's just kind of natural. I feel like it's going to be a different feel than the old videos, and some people might like how that felt. I fucking do too, man. I loved that feeling with the initial by release episodes and that excitement. And they're not bad emotions that I'm feeling now. They're just different. It's excitement in a different way every episode, and it's just entirely situational. And I think I've thought about that a lot. And I think that's a lot of where the pressure is nowadays when it comes to comedy. Dude, I don't even want to do Slayer right now while I'm talking about this stuff because I just don't want to fucking think about it. I'm just going to walk around. How's your YouTube endeavors changed what your life plan was before YouTube? Did you even have a plan yet? And I guess what would be your best life advice to people around your age? Yeah, YouTube changed my entire course of life. I became full-time as I was graduating college. Before that, I had planned to move to either LA or New York, which I probably still wouldn't have done even if YouTube didn't happen. But, you know, obviously the pandemic happened, as did my YouTube career. I honestly think if I wanted to make this happen regardless, I would have tried and tried and tried until it did happen, because I had seen that success is possible with consistency and persistence, and you just have to keep doing. I feel like the biggest lesson I've ever learned through college and even before at jobs at casinos, if you want to get to a certain place, you have to be active. You have to go above and beyond. Like, you have to continue working towards the goal outside of their criteria. If you are a student taking video classes, like film classes, and you're working towards a degree right now, you need to be doing a whole lot more than classwork. If you just do group projects and work with like student films and shit, that's as far as you're going. I'm sorry to tell you, if you are not being active outside of class, if you're not busting your ass with those projects and then making time for your own shit and coming up with your own ideas and working on solo projects or working with friends on stuff outside of class, you need to be doing that now. You gotta be active. Dude, I was just straight up sacrificing sleep, unfortunately. I mean, I was working from like 8 a.m. to midnight every day on schoolwork and then creating by release when I first started it. Like, I never stopped. When I was studying, I was AFKing shit on by release so that I can make the next episode. So it's a different type of grind, of course, with RuneScape, but it's the same thing applies. You can't be a fucking wallflower when it comes to jobs and what you want to achieve. You just need to continuously be active, and eventually you'll get what you want. You just have to show that you can do something you want to do, and you got to work towards it. You got to work on yourself. And I know motivation is hard as fuck to achieve sometimes. You just have to do it. You got to get up in the morning and fucking do it. No matter what profession you're pursuing, internship you want, eventual YouTube success, music even, you just have to keep doing it and trying shit, and eventually something will work, because that's just how fucking life works. No matter how many times you fail, because you will, it'll be funny. Everyone will laugh at you and point their fingers at you and say, haha, you failed. And you have to laugh with them, because that's what life's about, man. You gotta fail. You gotta pick it up sometimes. You gotta fucking take the shitty times and balance it out with the success later on, because it will come eventually. Quit being a little bitch and go do what you want to do. All right? We clear? On that note, I'm probably going to end it there. There's so many more questions, so maybe I'll just make this a little routine of just kind of answering questions sometimes, like in the morning when I wake up. It's the afternoon. I woke up in the afternoon. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I'm probably going to be streaming. Take it easy, everyone. Bye.